It's very important to have a smart CPA who works on your side to manage your tax and financial matters. You need someone to represent you to deal with Canada Revenue Agency, banks, financial institutions, or government. You need someone who can keep you updated on recent tax laws, government benefits, and various funding options available to you. At Balbir CPA Advice Center, we work for you to grow your business and build your wealth. We serve our clients all over Canada with our robust cloud tools. Download our iPhone and Android mobile app to get updated information about tax, benefits, and business opportunities. Visit www.cpaadvicecenter.ca or call 888-729-1860. You would love dealing with a modern accounting firm.
Hi, I'm Kim Kaur. I'm a mortgage agent with Mortgage Center. I can help self-employed clients all types of credits, first-time buyers, refinancing, and second mortgages. I deal with all major banks, trusted companies, and private lenders. I can arrange private funds within 24 hours, and our process is extremely smooth and fast. If you're paying higher interest rates with your current lender, I can switch your mortgages to lower interest mortgage. Call or text me at 416-419-3126. 416-419-3126. I have a mortgage solution just for you.
Namaskar, Sat Shri Akal, Salam.
Yeah. Hi Soumya, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I took a pause because this is not my show. This is your show. So here the show is over to you.
Yeah. So hi, welcome to Sanskruthi, my culture, my identity. So in this show, we will explore the traditional art form across the globe. So when I say art form, it's not painting or any other thing. It's the performing arts. It's about dance and music. So the opening episode, we'll be exploring more about dance. That's what everyone are interested in. So if you know how, do you know how exactly dance evolved, Soumya?
No, I would be very much interested to know how exactly dance evolved.
Actually, dance was part of every culture, like in religious, military, and the social part of the community back then when it evolved. And like almost all culture, like still they have dance as part of their culture. And
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I heard an echo. Yeah. Okay. okay. For most of it, they think it's part of the religious and the cultural part, but that is how it mainly evolved. And the dances which like the performers, like when they started, initially when it started, even the spectators were involved in the part of dance. And like over the period, like say for example, when it comes to Indian art form, that is any Indian classical art form, especially the temple dances. So what they would do is they used to perform and they would enact story on the god. So that is how they would worship, and in a way it would connect a human and the god. So they would enact the stories of the god. That was part of a ritual back then. So even if you look into the back era of even in the Christian communities, they had a part of like a formal procession or a dance pattern when they did their prayer. But over the period, it changed. Dance also plays an important role in the social economic stuff in all the cultural and religion. And over the period, it became from the religion part, it started becoming into more entertainment part. So this is how dance from the religion to the entertainment part, this is how it got transferred.
Interesting. So it's always good to know because for me, when I think of dance, the first thing that comes into my mind is Lord Shiva.
Yes.
The first beginning of dance from anywhere for me is always Lord Shiva. Look, we have Poonam ji saying keep it up.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good job. I think as a part of our religious ceremonies and also as entertainment. So whatever you said, she echoes with you and she responds. I miss these messages, but she responds
Okay.
with the same
Oh,
tempo.
when I said that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. And like over the period when life became very complex and like it started to evolve, like everyone got busy with their work, and it gradually became as a instead of being an integral part of a life, it started becoming an entertainment part of one's life. So
Yeah. Something
now it
different.
is more of an entertainment. So if you look into a dance, even if someone who goes to watch any art form, it's like entertainment for them.
Yeah.
Even not about just on today's day. Today you have too many stuff for an entertainment. You have movies. You can go to a fun fair, and back even I would say till 80s and 90s, or even 50s, 60s, if you look into it, the only entertainment what one could have was either a music or a dance that they could organize in the temple.
Oh.
So that was the only form of entertainment one could have till the movie industry started. So even if you look into it, the movie industry started, it started based on the classical art form. I'll get back on that in one of the episode over the time. So let's not
Okay.
jump into it. So this is how mainly danced and evolved. Actually, there are so many different types of dance form. It's not just the classical or a folk or a hip hop or a rap. Every country have their own classical art form. So like if I just look into a different type of dance, it is you have a theater dance, you have ballet, you have modern dance, you have Indian classical dance. Let's not miss that. We have tribal dance, you have ethnic dance, you have folk. So like many more based on the group of people. So that's how it went over the period. And
Yeah.
every country have their own classical art form, not just India.
Correct.
Every country have their classical art form. Like how many of out of India, when I say Indian art form or an Indian dance, the one
Yeah.
thing that comes to mind for everyone is Bollywood. No, that's not our cultural identity. Absolutely no.
It's a
Bollywood,
mishmash of things.
yeah. So I won't say Bollywood dance is something bad. No, but that's not the identity of the country when it comes to cultural part. It's just an
Correct.
entertainment part for that changed. Even in the movie industry, if you look into a very old classical art form, like the movies, like I would say in 50s when it started, or 40s when
Yeah.
it started, the
Yeah.
dance used to be the classical art form. It could be either Kathak, it could be either Bharatanatyam. Over the period, it evolved, and what you see today is the Bollywood dance. So that is how. And so, what other classical art form we can see across the globe? So, India is about in India. There are many classical art form, not just Bharatanatyam. You have Kathak, you have Odissi, you have Kathakali, you have Mohiniyattam. So every region has its classical art form. If you look into Russia, Russia is known for their ballet. So it's very popular. We usually see as a ballet, but when you say ballet, it is the first thing comes to mind is Russia. So that's where the Russian ballet started. And then if you go to US, you have break dance. Middle East, you have ballet dance. In Argentina, you have tango dance. Japan, uh, you have there is an art form called as kabuki. That is their classical art form. And Cuba has salsa. Look, everyone knows salsa, so they know it as a Spanish dance form, but it's from Cuba. And Brazil has samba. The dragon dance is from uh, China. And Ukraine also has a dance form called as hopka. Yeah. And Africa has a dance name called as adumu.
Adubu.
Adumu.
Adumu.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So every country have their own classical form. Like no one knew about these many classical art form. Like what do we see? Like all we see, if you think of a Western dance, it's always
Yeah.
either a break dance or a hip hop.
Yeah.
No one knows about that particular country's cultural dance. So that will
Yeah.
be more interesting for one to know how the dance evolved. How did this country, or in that country, that group of people, what made them to have that part of a classical dance? Those are the very interesting thing that we will explore in this show.
I look forward to it very much. I would want to know more that how did they reach that destination, right?
Yes.
So that's something that I would be very much interested. So what else do we have and what else are we going to talk about today?
So if anyone has any question on this, we can discuss about it.
Sure, let's ask people if they have any questions, if they have any input, if they want to talk about any specific dance forms. And also, while Sushmita was speaking about different dance forms, she mentioned that there is a specific dance form from Africa. What was the name of the dance form? Yes, that would be interesting to know. And I actually repeated that name purposely. So let's see if people remembered what you said, and if they remembered. So it was an interesting list of folk dances from different countries, or
Yes.
classical dances from different countries. So Sushmita, I want to ask you, how did you? I know it's quite interesting to know. For me, as I said, for me, beginning and end of dance means Lord Shiva. Like that's how it has always been, and I think that's how it will always be. Whenever I want to just dance for fun, or like just just like release that excess energy of I'm feeling like too lazy, too lethargic, to build up the energy, my first thing is I go and I start dancing on Shiv Tandastruthi for some reason. Like I just love it. So for me, it's always the beginning and the end. But how did you come up to search so much? Because each dance has a lot of history to it.
Yes. So this all started because of my blog.
Hmm.
I wanted to, I love to write. And I
Yeah.
said, what is something that I should write about? And
Yeah.
not everyone are aware of our classical art form. I mean, like now,
Right.
if you go, there are like a lot of blog. Everyone writes about the blog. Uh,
Hmm.
but usually, when someone sticks to the classical art form, they stick to uh, the character of it, like not the character, like what makes a dance. Like they will talk about the basic steps, they talk about the expression, they talk about the different items in a dance, but it's just that doesn't make a dance alone. There is lot more to a dance.
Hmm.
How it evolved, what
Yeah.
uh, every even when a dance evolved, there is a lot story behind for it to start. So
Yeah.
understanding that was quite interesting. So I first started with my own dance form,
Yeah.
when, and then I thought like, okay, let me try to research more about the Indian class art form. So
Yeah.
I might not be expert in that part, but I did basic, like little bit of homework before I started my blog. And I said like,
Yeah.
okay, so this is how even all other Indian classical art form evolved.
Yes.
And then I
So,
started interesting. I felt interested more about knowing what about rest of the world. I'm sure even
huh,
they will have like other than the North America,
yeah.
most of the country had their civilization. So when you
Yeah.
have a civilization, they will be having something for the entertainment.
Yeah.
So definitely back then, it will be either a tribal dance, or like it's mostly a tribal dance, because uh, it's a group of tribe people. They would have made their own dance. So today, all the tribal dance in India is very popularly known as folk dance. So even the dances, what the tribal people used to do, would have a meaning. They would be
Yeah.
a hunting dance, there would be a war dance, like, or they would
Yeah.
hunt something and they would get and they would dance for that, or like, too many stories behind each and every dance. So one to know why it started, how it started is very fascinating.
Yeah, of course, it's always interesting. So I asked a question that what dance form is from Africa. You had mentioned the name. I had repeated the name. Poonam ji caught on the name and she has mentioned it right here. Udamu.
Damu.
Yeah. So is that right?
It's spelled as Adumu.
Adumu. Adamu. Like said Udamu, but written as
Adamu. Yeah.
Adamu.
Adamu.
Okay. Okay. So we will be having more sessions of Sanskruti. What do people expect and how long your session is going to be? What more are they going to see over the new episodes? Because this is the launch episode, the pilot episode, the first episode where we are just introducing and talking about what kind of dance forms or what is it that we're going to talk about on this show, Sanskruti, that you will be hosting. I am just here to introduce you, but majorly it is going to be your show. You're the one who's going to host it.
Yeah, but we
So
will be a co-host. That will make more fun of an interaction rather than one person like talking. It'll be more boring if it is one person talking. So let's make it a more
So
interactive.
I really want to invite people of different forms or dancers
Actually,
of different.
that's very interesting. It'll be quite interesting because one person is not expertise in everything. So it'll
No, it's
be
not.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to know more about Kathak, know more about Odissi, and know about Kathakali, or even ballet dance. So easy is to start from the home, like it's your comfortable zone. So I would start with the Bharatnatyam. That's my plus point.
People of different
And
forms
then,
or
gradually we will go ahead with the Indian dance and the music, as it says, my culture, my identity, and we'll gradually explore the rest of the world's culture as well.
of course. I think because the name of the show is slightly different, that is why the number of people connected are a little bit lower than the usual number of people who connect and
Yes.
responses.
Like,
And
usually
it's
when they think about culture, they will think like, oh, it'll be something about uh, religion, festival, but no.
culture is very different from religion. But on this show, Sanskruti, Sushmita is exclusively going to discover different dance forms through. First, she'll start at home, and then she's going to spread her wings and travel through the globe. In the beginning, so Sushmita, I want to, before we close the show and before we end the show, I want to talk about something new that I recently learned.
Mhm.
And this was for a submission for one of the organizations called Panorama India.
Okay.
And yeah, they have this folk dance contest, or I think it's a contest only. I don't know if it's a contest or not very sure. But it's a dance. It's basically a folk dance submission that they were asking for. And of course, if they do anything, I always have to participate in it. So I decided to submit something for Uttar Pradesh, because last time Uttar Pradesh was not represented like the way I had expected it to be represented. So I was quite disheartened. So this time I was like, before anybody jumps in, I told them, okay, if there's no submission for UP, then I'm going to make a submission for UP.
Okay.
And then I started searching for dance forms. Last year I had done Ras Leela, which is a very prominent folk dance.
Yes.
Yeah, very prominent folk dance form of Uttar Pradesh. Mostly, majorly Western Uttar Pradesh, Western UP. You would find it more in the Western, because Mathura Vrindavan region is where it originated. और रास लीला का ही एक associated या brother sister form जो है वो आपको मिलेगा गुजरात में, जिसको गरबा बोला जाता है, right? तो गरबा आप हाथ से करते हैं, and then there is डांडिया स्टिक वाला जो डांस होता है आपका, right? So but in Ras Leela you will not see any sticks. It's just expressions, more about expressions and dancing to the words, right? That's more of Ras Leela. जैसे बोलते हैं एक तरीके का acting नृत्य जो होगा वो, but it's almost always about love. ठीक है, it's always almost about love between Lord Krishna, his gopis, Lord Krishna और राधा. उसी का एक ब्रदर या एक रिलेटेड डांस फॉर्म आपको मिलेगा मणिपुर में, जिसके बारे में सुष्मिता ट्रैवल करते करते जब वहां तक पहुंचेंगी तो उसके बारे में भी आपको इनलाइटन करेंगी. एंड चांदनी हमारा शो अगर देख रही हैं तो डेफिनेटली शी इज गोइंग टू टेल अस दैट मणिपुर में भी एक डांस फॉर्म एंड शी रिसर्च्ड एंड शी found in the researches that Ras Leela originated in Manipur. But
Okay.
I come from Uttar Pradesh. Yeah, but I come from Uttar Pradesh and I can tell you that Ras Leela actually started in Mathura Vrindavan.
That is what
So-
my understanding was. Like Rasrila is where when Krishna and gopis would dance in Vrindavan. That is how
Yes,
it all
but
started. Yeah.
ऑफिशियल फोक डांस जो रजिस्टर्ड है मणिपुर का, वो रासलीला एनैक्टमेंट जो है वो वहां से शुरू हुआ था. बट जो ओरिजिनेशन था उसका या जो इंस्पिरेशन था उसका वो उत्तर प्रदेश की जो रासलीला थी. तो एनीवेज लास्ट ईयर मैंने वो किया था. हमारे साथ दीपक जी इस वक्त जुड़ गए. दीपक चतुर्वेदी जी कहते हैं नमस्कार. नमस्ते दीपक जी.
Hey.
आज हम लोग एक नया शो लेकर आए. सुष्मिता पार्थसारथी is the host for the show. I'm just a guest. I'm just there to do the technical stuff in the background, but mostly she's the host of the show. And he's talking about Kathak. Yes, Kathak is also a classical dance form from Uttar Pradesh. But मैंने एक नया folk dance form इस बार, मुझे पता था उसके बारे में, मैं बचपन से सुष्मिता करती आ रही हूँ वो डांस.
Oh, is it?
Since I was a kid. Yeah, but I did not know what it is called and how it is represented. मैं बचपन से छोटी थी ना तब से मैं ये करती आ रही हूँ. एंड आई थिंक ये मेरी सबसे पहली डांसिंग मेमोरी है जो मेरी मम्मी ने मुझे सिखाई थी. It was on a folk dance and something talking about a seller selling matar ke dane or something. I don't remember the words exactly. Yeah, but something like that. And imagine कि हमारी जो टीचिंग होती है वो हमें कितना बाद में जाके बड़ों की चीजें समझ में आती हैं. तो प्रतिभा जी हमारे साथ जुड़ी हुई हैं. नमस्ते, हेलो, हाय प्रतिभा जी, कैसी हैं आप? सो उन्होंने, मैं रिसर्च कर रही थी एंड आई वाज लाइक यार वो वाला डांस करूं क्या मैं, इज दैट अ रियल फोक डांस? एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड रिसर्चिंग एंड आई रियलाइज्ड दैट देयर इज अ फोक डांस फॉर्म कॉल्ड एज नकटा.
Okay.
एंड या नकटा इज बेसिकली एनैक्टमेंट और एक्टिंग और नाटक. और तुमने पहले बॉलीवुड फिल्मों में उसका एक वर्जन देखा होगा जो कंगना रनावत की तनु वेड्स मनु में भी एक उसका छोटा सा ग्लिम्स था. एंड जिसमें लड़का ही लड़की बन के शादी में नाचते हैं, राइट? लड़की ही लड़का बन के शादी में डांस करते हैं, राइट? सो इट्स बेसिकली नकटा इज डन व्हेन द बारात लीव्स द ग्रूम्स हाउस. एंड पहले ऐसा होता था कि बारात में ना सिर्फ आदमी जाते थे, औरतें नहीं जाती थी बारात में.
Okay.
यूपी में तो ऐसे ही होता था, बाकी रीजन्स का नहीं पता. और शादियां क्योंकि दूर दूर होती थी कि भाई हमारे यहाँ बड़े पंगे होते हैं कि समगोत्री में शादी नहीं हो सकती और आप कहीं से भी कजन्स नहीं होने चाहिए, तो बड़ा कुंडली मिला के शादी होती थी. तो यूजुअली पीपल यूज्ड टू गेटिंग मैरिड इन अ वेरी डिस्टेंट विलेज. सो बारात में सारे मेन ट्रैवल करके जाते थे एंड वुमेन यूज्ड टू स्टे बैक. अब उन्हें स्टे बैक करना है, इतने सारे लोग घर पे इकट्ठे हो गए हैं, तो कुछ एंटरटेनमेंट भी करना है. मेन आर गॉन. So now what used to happen was, and this was the fun part, because most of the time women used to be in घूंघट. तो जैसे सास बैठी है तो उसको पता नहीं कि किस घूंघट में मेरी बहू है, सारी भीड़ इकट्ठी हो गई है, राइट? सो उसमें क्या होता था, सारे लोग ना गाने बनाते थे इम्प्रॉम्प्टू, और उस गाने में ना एक दूसरे के बारे में बुरा बुरा बोल देते थे, तंज कस देते थे कि जैसे किसी ने नंद के लिए कोई कटाक्ष बोल दिया, या सासू माँ के लिए बोल दिया, या ससुर जी के लिए बोल दिया. तो मन की भड़ास भी बाहर आ गई in the form of dance and singing, and you are not directly insulting anyone, and it was an acceptable format of a technique called catharsis, जिसमें आप अपने अंदर पेंट अप उस एंगर को लेट गो करते हो, रिलीज करते हो
In a fun
तो
way.
आई वाज लाइक हाँ, इन अ फन वे. और पता है इसका ही एक दूसरा फॉर्म होता है जो अब थोड़ा ज्यादा नया है. इट्स कॉल्ड एज गारी. मतलब
Okay.
बेसिकली गाली का अवधि वर्जन, जिसे बोला जाता है गारी.
Oh,
गारी देना.
Okay.
हाँ, और उसमें क्या होता है, जैसे कि मंडप में शादी चल रही है, अब तो औरतें भी जाने लग गई हैं शादी में. हमारे यहाँ पता नहीं साउथ में होता है कि नहीं होता, बट हमारे यहाँ ना पेरेंट्स जो होते हैं, ग्रूम और जो दूल्हा दुल्हन के पेरेंट्स होते हैं, वो शादी के फेरे नहीं देखते. दे हैव टू सिट समवेयर एल्स. दे कैन नॉट सिट वेयर द फेरास आर गोइंग ऑन.
Okay.
दे आर ओनली कॉल्ड व्हेन दिस
Kanyadana
हाथ
happens.
देते हैं ना वो. हाँ, कन्यादान happens only that time. Otherwise they have to not be there. उसमें
Okay.
क्या होता है, सारी लड़की वालों के साइड की सारी लेडीज बैठ जाती है पीछे मंडप के पीछे, और फिर वहां से ना वो इम्प्रॉम्प्टू गाने बनाती हैं और गाने गा गा के ना गालियां देती हैं, जैसे कि ससुर बड़े लंबे बड़े पतले, या अगर कोई थोड़ा फैट आ गया तो उसके ऊपर, या कोई टकला है तो उसके ऊपर, या किसी ने बहुत नखरा कर दिया खाना खाते समय और किसी लड़की वाले ने नोटिस कर लिया तो दे विल से ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम, या दहेज किसी ने मांग लिया तो उसके ऊपर सुना देंगे. सो बेसिकली इट वाज अगेन अ वे ऑफ आइस ब्रेकिंग between that very tense situation of लड़के वाला and लड़की वाला, and then doing it. So अभी बचपन से मैंने सुष्मिता देखा था. I have seen this, I have done this because me and my sister were the first dancers everybody used to call in the शादी. जब भी कोई आता था तो सारी यही बोलते थे कि my name is Bittu and my sister's name is Chuttu, right? तो जो भी शादी के invitation देने आते थे, कितने distant भी हो, तो पहले आके कहते थे बिट्टू छुट्टू को जरूर लेके आइएगा. Like the first thing they used to जरूर लेके. So I have been dancing on these songs since I was a kid, but I never really knew that what is this dance form called, and it's called as Nagata. देखो कुछ पूनम जी कह रही हैं स्वैग, मैसेजेस आए बीच बीच में. पूनम जी कहती है नौटंकी. नौटंकी एक थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट डांस है. नौटंकी में लोग जो है ना, एक नौटंकी मंडली होती है जो ट्रैवल करती है गांव गांव और वो कहानियां दिखाती हैं, और वहीं से लाइक बॉलीवुड एंटरटेनमेंट का जन्म हुआ था. तो नौटंकी स्लाइटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम नकटा. नकटा इज बेसिकली डन इन फैमिली सेटिंग्स.
Okay, I'll get back onto that. Before Nautanki started, the Kathak used to be like that.
Oh yes, Kathakas. They were called as Kathakas.
Yes.
So right? They were called as, I didn't want to break that information because I knew you were going to move towards it. But I have written the exams.
I couldn't resist.
कथक वाले जो हमारे एग्जाम होते थे उसमें हिस्ट्री भी होती थी ना कथक की, तो हम मुद्राएं बनाते थे, ऐसे ऐसे उसकी ड्राइंग बनानी होती थी, एंड देन यू हैव टू राइट. सो यस, यू आर राइट, कथक फ्रॉम दैट. सो दीपक चतुर्वेदी जी कहते हैं कानपुर वाला. यस, ये सब कानपुर, लखनऊ एंड आई थिंक गोरखपुर, बलिया, बस्ती, इस सारी जगहों पे होता है. वी यूज्ड टू हैव 3-day वेडिंग्स. मेरे यहाँ 5 दिन की शादियां होती थी. स्वांग, अच्छा ये कह रही है कि स्वांग होता है, इसको स्वांग बोला है. रत जगह, तो रत जगह इज अ पंजाबी वर्जन, बट यस यूपी में भी रत जगह का एक वर्जन होता है जहां पे जगते हैं, क्योंकि बारात किसी भी वक्त आ सकती है. तो बारात आ गई, बहू आ गई, ऊपर से चला सासू एंड द गैंग आर स्लीपिंग इन द हाउस, सो दे कांट हैव दैट हैपन, सो दे यूज्ड टू वेक अप ऑल नाइट. So that is why. And समधी एंड समधन सॉन्ग्स, यस समधी एंड समधन सॉन्ग्स होते थे, और इन्होंने बोला है स्वांग. तो यस, दिस इज ऑल ऑफ दीज डांस फॉर्म्स वर कॉल्ड स्वांग. बट हम इसके बारे में और अगेन सुष्मिता, यूपी में दिस इज नॉट द ओनली फोक डांस फॉर्म.
Oh, is it?
There are actually more than 8 different folk dance forms only and only in Uttar Pradesh. But again, you have to understand, Uttar Pradesh is a vast, big state, right? And it's not like ऐसा नहीं कि गोलाकार है, वो है, उसका shape ऐसा है. So it's basically spreading in a wide variety of region and touching different borders. So
it will have
that is why you
have cultures, influence, everything. Yes.
Yes. Exactly. The folk dance forms are, so obviously I would very much would be interested to be a guest on those shows when you're talking about UP dance forms or folk dance forms. I would be very much interested to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'll keep you as a part of the show throughout all the episodes. It'll be fun having an interaction show. But yeah, we will be having more guests coming in the show. It's not just me and Soumya talking. We will have expertise from that art field who will come, who will talk. You can, like, if you want to learn more about the art form, it's not just for you, it's for your kids. They will learn more about our art form.
They can choose कि उन्हें क्या करना है, right? They
It's
can
not
choose
जरूरी you have to learn a classical art form because then you're an Indian. You can learn ballet, you can learn like salsa, you can learn any of the classical form. But before knowing about, I mean, before joining, it's nice to have an idea how it all evolved. And
Yes.
then make a wise choice what you want to learn. कैसा नहीं है कि बस time pass के लिए I went learn, because all the classical art form needs dedication. It won't come like you. So
Anyway, yeah.
that is very important. So our audience can learn about that in the show. Then they can, even the kids can watch, even they will know what they want to learn. It's just
So on that note,
on that note, I really want to say something to, like, I've been thinking in the last few months ki what is it that Radio Dishum is heading towards, right? Radio shows to bahut hi kam karti hu, main zyadatar Facebook shows karti hu, right? And I have been very casual about all my shows, and I have been very open about all my shows. And today the thought came to me, and officially I'm going to start rebranding Radio Dishum slightly in a little longer while. But
Okay.
basically, Radio Dishum is the one-stop shop, or the one point where you can connect so that you can help yourself, your kids, and the people around you stay connected to your culture truly. क्योंकि आपको अपने या अपने बच्चों को आप जो समझाएंगे, कई बार बच्चे नहीं समझते हैं, बट वो किसी और के समझाने पे उस चीज को बहुत जरूरी या बड़ी अच्छी तरीके से सीख लेते हैं, राइट? सो इट्स मच इजियर इफ समबडी इज एक्सप्लेनिंग, एंड आई वांट टू डू एग्जैक्टली दैट. जब मैं कनाडा आई थी तब से मैं सोचती थी कि मैं छोटे बच्चों को ना ऐसे धर्म के बारे में पढ़ाऊंगी, बट आई विल नॉट टीच देम जस्ट द रिचुअलिस्टिक पार्ट ऑफ इट, जैसे कि उठो और हाथ जोड़ो या पूजा करो या बार बार ऐसे करो. नॉट दैट, लाइक दैट is up to the parents what they want to teach their kids. What I truly wanted to teach was कि गणेश क्यों हैं, उनको गणेश जी को क्यों पूजा जाता है, why is he symbolized as an elephant, right? What is the purpose or the meaning behind it? So explain कि why like हम अपने रूट से, अपने कल्चर से या किताबों से जो कनेक्ट करने के लिए हमारे ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स या पेरेंट्स कहते हैं, उसके पीछे का रीजन क्या है. And I think this show that you have brought is kind of a connection in the same way. And I feel that the first episode may be not that bomb of an episode, but as we grow into it, this is going to be a growing episode and growing learning process for everybody who's going to connect to this show. Because again, पता है लोग सोचते हैं क्लासिकल डांस का मतलब है, इंडियन क्लासिकल डांस फॉर्म का मतलब है कथक, भरतनाट्यम, that's it, chapter close.
Yeah, but that's not it. That is not it.
No, मैं जब स्टेज शोज करती हूँ सुष्मिता, जब मैं स्टेज शोज कर रही होती हूँ, एंड कभी कभी मैंने फोक डांस, और नॉट रियली फोक डांस बट रिप्रेजेंटिंग ईच स्टेट थ्रू डांसिंग भी किया हुआ है, merging the fashion show part of it and dancing part of it, because I love dancing, and each state has a different style. Yes. There is no overlapping. कभी भी ओवरलैपिंग होती है ना. और शॉकिंग पार्ट पता है क्या है? ये है आपका हिमाचल प्रदेश, ये है आपका पंजाब, और ये है आपका हरियाणा. लाइक इतनी छोटे से एरिया में 3 क्षेत्र हैं आपके, 3 प्रदेश हैं, 3 states are right linked so close, and each one is different. Like there is no overlapping, चाहे वो outfit हो, चाहे वो music हो, चाहे वो dancing हो, there is no overlapping of any sort. So now Radio Dishum has officially become that one place where you can come and not just learn but ask questions. And I want this to be a platform for the next generation kids to be able to connect with us. And I've seen a very, very good response from the kids based on learning and culture. First few weeks I will, क्यों कर रहे हैं, किस लिए कर रहे हैं, they're anxious, they ask, and they're shy from asking, and then once they start asking questions, Sushmitha, they ask a lot of questions. So I really hope
we will run out of answers.
A lot of questions.
सारी सवाल होती है.
मैं तो I have to go back and say कि मुझे ये नहीं पता है, बट अब रेडियो डिशम ऑफिशियली वो प्लेस होगा जहां बच्चे कुछ नहीं करना, वीक में 1 या 2 दिन हमारा कोई भी शो लगा दो, बच्चे देखे चुपचाप. मैं ये नहीं गारंटी करती कि पूरी पोथी सीख जाएंगे वो, but definitely watching our show, whichever one you choose to show them, because there's going to be a variety of shows, they will definitely learn 1 or 2 things more than what they've learned or they joined before watching the show. They may have, and then I'm going to create an open platform where the kids can actually ask questions, and then probably we can come back with answers for them as well. So ये show I really hope कि बच्चे देखें, this one, संस्कृति जो तुम कर रही हो सुष्मिता. I really hope that kids do watch this show, because this is going to throw a very different light on different forms of dances in India. And like I always say कि इंडिया में सिर्फ पंजाब और गुजरात नहीं है, इंडिया में मणिपुर भी है, राइट? इंडिया में केरला भी है, इंडिया में अंडमान निकोबार भी आता है, इंडिया में कश्मीर भी आता है, लद्दाख आता है. Like you will be amazed when you learn about Ladakh, and you will be like, what? And you will be amazed when you research about the outfits of Manipur या Meghalaya, right? वैसे ही you will be amazed when you learn about these dance forms, the outfits that go with the dance forms. I mean, it's not just about dancing. It's about everything. It's about looks.
It's
Yes.
about makeup, it's about posture, and like getting over your body image. It's about the music, and again, it's about happiness while performing that dance.
Yeah.
So
It's
all
like
of these
most of them, dance is just a happiness. Like if you think about dance, like the very, like usually like if I have to ask someone, like what is dance to you? What do you think about when you listen to the word dance? So
yeah,
for few, they say it's fun. So few
yeah,
say it's like time pass. Like for
yeah,
few, it says like, okay, it's kind of workout for me. I can
yeah.
sweat a lot. So for few, like for me, it's I can express myself through my dance. So everyone
Yes.
has their own difference. So it's not the same for everyone. The feeling will not be the same for every single person. It keeps changing.
For me, it's exactly like worship. Like, I don't know. It's exactly like worship. मुझे करना है तो करना है. And the happiest, मुझे बहुत सारे audience है मेरे, बहुत सारे लोग मेरा dance देखते हैं. And lots of people appreciate my dance, however bad it may be. Like, there are lots of people, when you do any kind of talent present, जब भी आप किसी भी talent form को present करोगे, in front of your family, in front of your friends, or maybe social media, YouTube, or maybe on a big stage, doesn't matter. When you have a skill and you present it, or a talent that you present, there are always people who appreciate it, right? बट मेरा जो सबसे अच्छा अप्रिसिएशन मुझे लगा है आज तक, द मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल फॉर्म ऑफ अप्रिसिएशन, दैट हैज ऑलवेज कम फ्रॉम माय मदर इन लॉ. It has always come from her. Anytime she watches my dance, it's like she's watching it for the first time and she is just so impressed. And I feel कि हर बच्चे को अपने आप को एक्सप्लोर करने का ऑप्शन देना चाहिए कि वो कौन सा डांस सीखना चाहता है. एंड सुष्मिता इज गोइंग टू डू एग्जैक्टली दैट. अभी बहुत धीमे धीमे इस सीरीज को ये बढ़ाएगी, very very slowly, piece by piece, but eventually it's going to get to a point where the kids will have an opportunity to ask गुरु माँ बन जाएंगे थोड़े दिन में, टीचर बन जाएंगे. तो
Actually,
सुष्मिता,
these like for most they see it as an extracurricular activity or just a time pass, just to have a break from their routine of the school and homework. Actually, when you learn any of these art form, like be it music, be it dance, uh, it increases your mind capacity. It increases your focus. Uh, it like one person can actually multitask. Say if you learn a classical music, learning a classical music, it's not easy. I'm not talking about like Hindustani or Carnatic, be it even a Western classical also. uh, Western classical
yeah,
is very difficult. You have to train your vocal in such a way. You have the way you take your high pitches and low pitches, they train you a lot. Even with the
they do,
instruments,
yeah.
know what key sounds what alphabet. You not just randomly go and bang. You should know, if you play a
Yeah,
piano, you should know, okay, this white key is for this, black key is for this. Like jitni bhi keys hai, you should remember it. Like just imagine how much your brain can store,
yeah,
and you'll be remembering it. Like be it whatever, like if you practice, like your like for me, I always say, it's what I tell my students is like your brain is like a supercomputer that has a never ending terabyte.
yeah.
The more you train, the bigger it gets.
Yes,
So
of course.
you can multitask, you can like you can do lot many things when you take up any art form, dedicate to it. Like focus on it. It's not easy. You just focus, you work on it, and over the period you will know how nice it is. Like not just with your extracurricular activity or anything, even with your studies you can, like it's like wow, your focus improves, you can concentrate, you can remember even in the class whatever your teacher says, you can just remember everything. So
Yeah,
it has its own pluses. So, like what I tell parents is like, don't see it as an extracurricular. See it as a math or a science that you make sure your kid studies. For your kid, a math and science is very important. Make sure one art form they do learn, like while
yeah,
they grow up when they are young. That really adds not just with their thing, but also helps academically for them.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. So this is what Sanskruthi is going to be about. She's going to tell you about different dance forms throughout India, and then she's going to go across the globe.
Across the globe.
And this is just something that spontaneously both of us came together with the idea, and it's really growing. इसके अलावा करंटली जो एक शो हमारा चाय पे चर्चा तो है ही, जो हम करते हैं, जिसका क्विज सेगमेंट लेकर आए हैं. एवरी वेडनेसडे वी आर डूइंग द क्विज सेगमेंट. एवरी संडे आई एम गोइंग टू कम अप विद अनदर वर्जन दैट्स अगेन गोइंग टू बी चाय पे चर्चा क्विज सेगमेंट. एंड देन देयर इज अ चाय पे चर्चा विद गेस्ट, जिसमें कभी कभी बॉलीवुड गेस्ट आते रहते हैं, जिसका सबसे रीसेंट रिलीज जो मैंने किया है दैट वाज टीम टोरबाज. And I don't know if you guys have watched that episode or not, but there's actually an interview that I posted with Team Torbaz on our Facebook page. So do watch it. We had a one-on-one conversation with the producer and the actor Rahul Dev, who played the negative role in the film. So it was a good interview, very nice, and Rahul Dev is a very very nice and sweet person to talk to. Interview में बहुत ही calm compose से है, no air around him, so it's fun interview. Do watch it. उसके अलावा हमारी जो पूनम जी हैं, उनका शो तो सुपर हिट है ही, खाओ इंडिया खाओ. It's a fantastic show. If you guys have not seen it, please do watch the episodes. She has been doing a wonderful job with each of the states that she has covered. And unlike the rest of my shows, where I begin with Rajasthan and then travel all the other states, and then end I go to Northeast, because I'm always very scared to touch Northeast because I have never visited it, never physically seen it. I don't have a lot of friends from those states. तो मुझे बहुत डर लगता है कि मैं कोई गलत information ना दे दूं. But पूनम जी was the first one. उन्होंने इधर उधर 2-3 states छुए, and then boom, she went into Northeast and she did it like a pro. She knows everything in and out. And again, just like संस्कृति, हमारा खाओ इंडिया खाओ का कॉन्सेप्ट भी बिल्कुल वैसा ही है कि उसमें हम लोगों को सिर्फ रेसिपी तो आप गूगल पे जाके लिखोगे, यूट्यूब पे जाके लिखोगे, you'll find a recipe. The intent of that show, just like this show, was that you learn why the food is cooked in that state in a certain fashion. जैसे कि सुष्मिता आपको बताएंगी कि हर स्टेट में एक डांस फॉर्म ऐसा क्यों हुआ, हिस्ट्री कहाँ से इवॉल्व होके वहां तक पहुंची, वैसे ही वो खाने के इतिहास उस स्टेट में, उस प्रदेश में क्या है, कैसा है, फूड हैबिट्स क्यों हैं, किस तरीके के खाने को ज्यादा खाया जाता है, कौन सा तेल, कौन से मसाले यूज किए जाते हैं, वो सब आपको पहले एक्सप्लेन करेंगी, जिसके बीच बीच में आपको स्टेट के बारे में कुछ फन फैक्ट बताती हैं. एंड देन इन द एंड शी इज गोइंग टू शो यू वन रेसिपी व्हिच इज ऑलवेज वेरी इजी टू कुक एंड वेरी वेल प्रेजेंटेड, दैट यू विल नॉट फाइंड एनीवेयर एल्स. आपको यूट्यूब पे भी नहीं मिलेंगी. मुझे उस रेसिपी की पिक्चर्स ढूंढने में भी मुश्किल होती है. तो पूनम जी ऑलवेज कम्स अप विद रियली इंटरेस्टिंग रेसिपीज दैट आई हैव नेवर सीन. उनकी राजस्थान की जो रेसिपी थी वो मैंने ट्राई की, रोटला, जो रोटी उन्होंने जो बनाई थी, वो रेसिपी वाज वेरी वेरी अप्रिशिएटेड इन माय हाउस होल्ड. और अभी भी मैं वो बनाती रहती हूँ, जिसको मेरा बेटा कुकी कहता है. So it's probably the same format. So पूनम जी हमारे साथ इस वक्त जुड़ी हुई हैं, उनको हम फिर से हेलो बोलते हैं, थैंक यू बोलते हैं, उनके शो को देखिए. देन मेरी मम्मी जुड़ गई हैं. हेलो मम्मी, यहाँ पे हम लोग डांस का शो कर रहे हैं, देखिएगा जरूर, अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर कीजिएगा. Khabroti, yes, she's saying khabroti, and rotla is the household name that we've given to it because it's like a big roti, so I've given it the name rotla. And designer roti.
Yes, actually it does look like one.
Yes, so if you've not seen our past episodes, guys, please do and watch it. हमने दिल चाहता है घूमो का एक episodes किए थे, जिसमें हमने हर state को travel किया था. And again, I have to say, Sushmitha did a fantastic job with all the 5 South Indian states that she covered. She did a fantastic job. Like मुझे इतनी खुशी होती है कि I get connected with all these lovely people with so much knowledge and so much passion in their hearts that they come forward with these amazing shows. So Sushmitha, this show is going to be new one and it will be aired. आप किस दिन air करोगे सुष्मिता? उसके थोड़े details बता दो, लोग कब देखें वो बता दो please.
Do it on Sundays 8:30.
So she's going to do her show every Sunday 8:30. It's going to be live show. If one of you is a classical or a folk dancer, or even for that matter musician who knows a little bit about the dance forms from a certain region area, please do reach out to Sushmitha directly. You can email.
Like to have you.
And yes, what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to roll a strip here at the bottom. मैं इसको edit कर देती हूँ और इसमें अपनी email को भी चला देती हूँ. radiodishum@gmail.com, and I'm going to scroll it at the bottom. So you can actually send us an email on this email address, radiodishum@gmail.com पे अगर आप इस शो में फीचर होना चाहते हैं as a dancer, as a musician, somebody who understands music, because obviously I'm not a singer, I'm not a musician, but definitely I'm a dancer. So if you want to be a guest on this show and represent one folk or a classical dance form, please do reach out to Sushmitha, and she'll be more than happy to bring you on and talk a little bit more about that specific dance form. Right, Sushmitha?
Yes, I would love to.
So thank you so much everyone for joining. अच्छा, जिनके knees हिले हुए हों उनके लिए कोई डांस क्लास,
अब कुछ
हम
भी
यहाँ पे
dance
डांस की हाँ, अगर आपके knees हिले हुए हैं तो कोई बात नहीं, हम आपके लिए कस्टम डांस फॉर्म बना देंगे, आप उसकी चिंता मत कीजिए. But thank you so much for watching GP, and thank you so much for staying on for such a long time. Everybody who's been watching the show, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday at 8:30. Next Sunday at 8:30 with Sushmitha Parathasarathy on her latest and the most recent show, which is called as Sanskruthi. Do watch it. Tab tak ke liye good night, Shubh Ratri.
Good night.